At around 1:40 p.m. on the 19th of January 2021, a broad daylight drive-by shooting was captured on CCTV in the Harpurhey area of Manchester. Police had rushed to the scene after a call was made to them by a man whose car had been struck by a stray bullet when he was driving home from work. One of the two shots fired within the drive-by shooting incident. The footage you've seen depicts two cars driving in tandem at speed onto Briscoe Lane. The occupants of the BMW, 32-year-old Sean Cowie and 39-year-old Dean Urey, had chased a Volkswagen Golf before Sean is seen hanging out of the back window letting shots off. The shooting was part of an ongoing dispute between two rival gangs in the area, and they'd been chasing the Golf down due to a previous incident in where Sean and Dean's friend had been beaten to a pulp. They were followed closely by another man, 42-year-old Paul Ryan, who had been with the occupants of the BMW, but he had been in a separate Golf. The chase continued up Droylsden Road before eventually all three cars fled, but this was a drive-by shooting in broad daylight and was just one of 26 ongoing shooting cases in Manchester within the space of 12 months by that point, so police wasn't just going to let this one go just because no one was injured. Over the next few days, inquiries followed and all three men would go on to be arrested in connection with the incident. When they arrived at Ryan's home, they seized a sawn-off shotgun and took it for evidence. Ryan's DNA was found on the trigger, although he said that others forced him to take the gun to hide from police. And in the end, they never found the gun that was used in the shooting itself. With all the evidence building up against the three then, it was obvious that they would all plead guilty to the charges that were brought against them. Sean was handed a 5-year and 7-month prison sentence for conspiracy with intent to cause fear or violence. He said the gun wasn't supposed to be discharged, rather brandished to warn off the rival gang. Ryan was handed a 6.5-year sentence for possession of a shotgun without a license and conspiracy with intent to cause fear or violence. And Dean was handed a 5-year and 4-month prison sentence for conspiracy with intent to cause fear or violence. So this story was fairly short, thankfully no one died, but I wanted to bring you this case to show you the gravity of it. This went down in broad daylight. According to police reports, they've come out to say that when the shooting happened, it was extremely busy. A woman had even been walking with a pushchair within the area, and bearing in mind this took place in January of 2021, the kids would have been back at school after the Christmas period. Normally in the UK, lunch breaks are from either 12 to 1 or 1 to 2 in the afternoon, depending on what school you go to. I don't know the case for the primary school located on the same street as the shooting, but primary school children could have potentially been hit if they were on their break. Let's not forget this went down at 1:40 p.m. Oh yeah, there'd been a nursery right around the corner as well, so the fact that no one got hit, given how busy it was, is just mind-blowing to say the least. But again, I am very thankful because a small child could have definitely been killed in this situation. For now though, give the video a like for more crime related content like this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It's been me, A Poncho, and I'll see you in the next one.
So it was just a normal day, about 1:45 in the afternoon on a Tuesday in January last year. A lot of people just about in the area, just going about their own daily business, and there's 2 primary schools in the local area, and these 2 vehicles just out of nowhere really just come driving at high speed around the junction that you can see there, and Sean Cowie, who's in the rear of the vehicle, is seen to be discharging a firearm towards another vehicle who they're clearly pursuing. At that time of day, random bullets flying around that could have hit anybody. It did actually hit the vehicle of a member of the public who was just going to work. There's people around on the street, and 2 bullets were discharged that we know of, and those bullets could have gone anywhere and somebody could have been killed on that day. So it was a very, very difficult investigation because we only had one report from a member of the public, who was the gentleman whose car sadly was hit with the bullet. The incident, as you can see from the footage, happened really, really quickly, so we had no other reports initially to the police. Initial inquiries were CCTV, which has obviously resulted in the footage which will be shown today, which showed the vehicles involved and showed Sean Cowie hanging out of the rear of the vehicle, discharging the firearm. As a result of that, inquiries were done around the vehicles, around police intelligence systems, there was forensic work done at the scene, and also mobile phone work, which ultimately led to the offenders being identified and arrested. There was a number of offenders arrested and targeted as part of this investigation, and as a result of some of the warrants that were conducted on that day. Unfortunately, we didn't recover the weapon that was used in the incident. However, at Paul Ryan's address, a shotgun was recovered, so that was another firearm that was taken off the streets, and he has been prosecuted for that offence. The fact that 3 of these offenders have pleaded guilty at court just shows how overwhelming the evidence was that was presented to them. The investigation started off with very little evidence and very little reports from members of the public. However, a small team of detectives conducted a painstaking investigation, and because of that and the evidence that was gathered, that's resulted in the guilty pleas at court. There were a lot of firearms discharged in North Manchester at that time, including this incident, and we understand how scary and how distressing that can be for members of the public who are just going about their normal daily business. But the sentences that we've got today and the investigations that have been done will just go to show that we're committed to detecting those offences, taking these firearms off the streets and bringing these offenders to justice.